Morning, good morning, and welcome to Our Black News. I'm Don Allen with Anthony Scott and Reverend Tim Christopher. We're just kicking it, and I'd like to start out right away by letting you know that this is our fundraising show. You know, other stations do this stuff all the time, and we are not a nonprofit. We depend on money out of our wallets to get this show running, and if you want to, you can donate to Cash App at $ Our Black News MN. That's $ Our Black News MN. Our goal for this month is a measly $250. $250 we're trying to raise for Our Black News. And you'll see where it goes to here. We're going to do this more than once a week. Increase our frequency, buy some gadgets, and maybe even a call-in apparatus that you can call directly into the show. And so I appreciate you tuning in this morning to Our Black News. Reverend Christopher, Anthony, how y'all doing this morning? How y'all doing?
Doing good. And I want to say that would be money well spent. That would be money well spent to just contribute to getting the news. Getting news you don't get anywhere else. You're not going to get this from the Star Tribune. You're not going to get this from all the other supposed news outlets. You're going to only get this special news that pertains to Minneapolis, St. Paul, the Minnesota area right here. So we hope that you're enjoying our show, and I hope we get to the point down where we can get call-ins. I would love to address some of our call-ins, and anybody that would like to come in and support us, and even if they don't agree with us, we would still like them to call.
Doesn't matter. Reverend Christopher.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. I'll say the same thing. I understand the cost of this here because like I said, Don and I was talking. You're not like you said. You're not gonna get what we know, what we see. You got people that's on the ground. That's the difference between a lot of this stuff that you hear out there. You got radio shows that these people are not. They don't see it. They hear it or they read it in the paper. Here, you got people who are definitely on the ground watching it or seeing it or hearing it or talking to the people who have witnessed it, one or the other. So, or
Amen.
You could go listen to Babel Radio if you want.
You can go listen to the radio. We're doing the work. Everybody here, we're doing the work. We're the ones. The United States Attorney is doing the work.
I don't know.
Look. We talked about this last week, right? Talk about the truth.
Yes, we did. We did.
Telling you the truth.
Yes.
But I would love to have that call in where people can actually call in and write, and we. So most of the time, what are we're doing? We're actually reading off of their comments. When people are saying good morning, let them call in and say good morning, and then disagree with us if they want to. Like you said, you can disagree with anything that we say.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If we say something that done ticked you off enough that you want to get on your cell phone and dial that number and call in, please do. Please do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I wanted to just add, I was at a service for one of our, longtime community members, and I was leaving the service, and I was supposed to find repast at a place called the Green Room. It was supposed to have been downtown. I couldn't
Yeah.
find it. I drove all over, and they had all kinds of stuff going on downtown. You couldn't park anywhere. It was hot out. I looked all over the place, couldn't find it. So I
The
was on
green
my way
room.
home. I was on my way
Okay.
home, and I just drove past the city hall. And who do I see just sashaying down the street? One of the city council persons.
Oh, I was going to say a prostitute, but go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm not done yet, but so the city councilman, and I looked at him. I says, Jamal Osmond, and he's working with a little girl in one of the costumes. The costumes that they wear. They have little costumes. They wear these costumes. And so I just yelled out the window, feeding our future. And he stopped and looked, stared at me. If there had been a parking spot, I would have parked and got out and had a conversation with him. I'd like to have a conversation with him about his involvement in that. So it was very interesting that I ran into him. It also brings up something else, Don.
Okay, go ahead.
Brings up something else, and that is, today is the 4th of July. This is the
Yes, it
4th
is.
of July that is a celebration of our country, Don. And we have people, I'm sure all of us, I don't know that I know Don has been in the military. I don't know about Rev, but I haven't been, but I have relatives that have been. I have cousins that have been. I have friends that have been in the military that have fought for this country. Some lost their lives. I actually had an uncle in Detroit that fought in World War I. Whenever I went to Detroit, I had to go see Uncle Benny, World War I veteran. But then we have these people from other countries, Somalia, wherever they go. They haven't fought in no wars. You can go out to the Fort Snelling Cemetery and see relatives out there. You can go to cemeteries where you can see people that have fought in wars for this country. They haven't done that.
No, they haven't.
They haven't fought for this country. They have. What they want to do is come here and get what we have. That's what they want to do without stepping over all the boundaries, without all the laws that we have had to have passed, all the laws about education, all the laws about voting. They can just come right in here and think, oh, we're on welfare. We can get EBT cards. We got new cars. We can blah, 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 blah. This is what really gets me when I really think about the reason of this country and the fact that we have had people, citizens, that have fought for this country, and we have now people now that are sitting on our legislatures, that are sitting in Congress, that are representing us, but they haven't paid the price. You got
You're absolutely right.
You got to pay the cost to be the boss, and they haven't.
Yes, you do. I agree 100%. Again, welcome everybody to Our Black News. I'm Don Allen with T. Scott Pressure and Reverend Tim Christopher. And I just don't want you to forget, today is our fundraising show. If you feel inclined, Our Black News MN at Cash App. We're trying to raise $250. We're going to keep that little ticker running at the bottom. And I'm just going to see, a lot of people say, yeah, we support this, we'll do that. We are not a nonprofit. This is not tax deductible. You are paying for show costs, and we will definitely share those receipts with the general public, period, and be full disclosure on this. And just, donate whatever you can to Cash App at ourblacknews.com. Before we get started, I just want to shrink back down to the right size on the screen here. I had posted this show that asked the question, is the NAACP still relevant in 2026? And I just want to put some disclaimers on there. This is nothing to disrespect our past NAACP leaders that did great work in this country right after this, even from 1954 to 1964 during that civil rights upheaval and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and all that. They did good work. They were in it for the fight. And I appreciate the ground and the ground they laid, the work they did. And That's why we're here today. That's why we can be here on this program today, talking the stuff that we talk, saying what we talk for no money, no advertising, nothing from anybody. So I thank those brothers and sisters and children back in the day for getting the NAACP going and including everybody. Now let's fast forward to 2026. It's been a while. It's been a few years before. Well, it's been a few years since the NAACP, the Urban League, and a couple other flagship black agencies has really represented black Americans here in the United States. And the only evidence I have to show you of that is that, all these uprisings, there would have never been a Black Lives Matter if the Urban League and the NAACP were functioning at all 8 cylinders or 12 cylinders.
And
We'll
churches. And churches.
and churches
Yes.
and I'll let you get into the black church piece, Reverend. But I'm just saying that somewhere someone dropped the ball, and you got Black Lives Matter, you got all these collectives, you got all these people in here raising tons of money after the death of the guy on 38th in Chicago with the officer, the incident that happened, and Minneapolis, no one here has really benefited. We had guys on this show to talk about the businesses in that area, the neighborhood in that area. We had people with the nonprofit in that area talk, they're not doing any better. But the thing is that for all this fighting, all this everything that's going on, we have not, as a people in the United States, have not done better than we were in maybe 1974 and 1975. It's actually gotten worse. And you look at stuff, and the other day, I've never saw the NAACP jump. The first time, well, no, I'm not gonna say the first time. In the last 30 days, the NAACP has come out with 2 statements focused, and I thought they were ill statements that they should have never, ever done. The first one was with the, I'm trying to find it here, the college kids, asking the college kids to give up their funds for any college they were going to if they were included in one of these states where the voters' rights were affected, and go to HBCUs. Asking these teenagers to do that, which I thought was out of touch. It was, they called on black athletes and fans to withhold support of public schools in states that are attacking the voter rights, and that's an argument that can go either way. But the latest one that kind of drove me kind of nuts. And I'm not against any of these people, but this popped up. NAACP stands with transgender athletes following Supreme Court ruling. We condemn the Supreme Court's ruling ban transgender use for sports teams. And I just want to, before I give up the mantle here, I want to make it perfectly clear. When I grew up in school, we had flag football, floor hockey, all these things which were men and women teams. Okay. All through elementary school, through high school. And we played with boys, play with girls, not a problem. The issue that I have is that if a guy that's number 400 on the swimmers ranking list, men's ranking list, decides to jump over and participate as a woman, and then he's all of a sudden number 1, I don't think that's fair competition. I don't think it's fair to all those women that might have trained all their life for soccer, basketball, football, whatever they're doing, whatever sport, gymnastics, for a guy, a biological male, to jump in and be number 1 at everything. I think that's wrong. I don't think that's fair. That does not show competition. But yet the NAACP has walked forward and grabbed it by its hand and walked it forward to their population, saying, hey, well, we support them in sports. So someone doesn't understand that you step on the heads of black children, black girls, black boys, black communities when this can happen. And so do they really represent us? Are they the agency that we need out there leading the charge for all the disparities? Because you haven't heard them come out blatantly like that and say, hey, our 4th graders aren't reading at grade level. What's up? So with that said, I mean, what do you guys thought? Am I being too radical, too messy? I shouldn't say that. Or are you seeing a little bit of this? Don't everybody jump in at once.
Well, I'm going to let Rev have it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Scott. Appreciate you. First off, let me start off by saying this here. What is it? What is it to the slave? So I'm gonna leave that for y'all to think about. I think everybody black should read
Frederick
Frederick
Douglass.
Douglass' speech. You
Frederick
should
Douglass.
read
I
that
just read
speech.
it today.
Yes, sir. If you have never read that speech, you should read it, especially on today. Um, I'm in agreement with you on that, Don. Good morning, Miss Cindy Jones. I'm in agreement with you on that. I've been out protesting with women who are upset that they let men in women's prison. I've been out to the Shakopee prison. I've stood with those women who have said, there are biological men still have their little thing between their legs. They put on a wig, lipstick, and a dress and call themselves trans, and they are allowed to go into these prisons with these women. They're in the prisons assaulting these women. That's okay with Tim Walz. That's okay with Peggy Flanagan. That's okay with Keith Ellison. That's okay with the Democratic Party. I've stood with these women, got pictures with them, everything. I've spoken on their behalf. So when it comes to sports, I have a granddaughter, and when my granddaughter gets old enough to get a bat in her hand, she will have a glove, a baseball, a bat, and we will start going and practicing till she can get to the point to where she can play girls fast pitch softball. Let me make sure y'all understand what I just said, because a lot of these Democrats swear up and down they don't know what a woman is. Girls soft pitch. I'm going to train her like I did both my boys to make the high school team. And while we're playing and while we're practicing, if I see a little boy come out talking about I'm a girl and trying to join the team and trying to be on the field, y'all are going to hear the biggest ruckus, dust up you ever hear. No, we're not having little boys who can't make it with other little boys, come and disrupt these biological females who I know. Look, I've been a baseball coach for 26 years. When they start T-ball, little girls are playing T-ball, and that's cool. When they get to A-ball, you probably got 10 little girls in A-ball. When they get to double A ball, you probably got 7 little girls. When they get to majors, 12 years old, you probably got 2 little girls being able to play at that level. When they get to traveling baseball, you have 0 girls playing at that level, because now they are at that point where they are 13, 14, 15, and 16. When you get to Legion ball, when they are 17, 18, 19, there are no women playing at all.
Wow.
So with the NAACP, I don't really get into that NAACP thing, because I don't really feel that NAACP has really kind of ever done anything for black folks ever. To me, the church, King, and everybody else who was coming up, I think the NAACP was just there just to make noise, to collect money. Just like of today, they ain't. Who is most people don't even know who the president is of the NAACP. Correct?
I thought you were talking about the United States. Okay.
No. Yeah. Well, that's a different story. But most people don't even know in the black community don't even know who the president of the NAACP. Most people can't even get in touch with their NAACP.
But we used to know. But so we used to know. We used to know. We used to know who these people were, because they actually wanted to have a seat at the table. Now it's just perfunctory.
Yeah,
it's just perfunctory.
it doesn't matter. But back in the day when I was growing up, right? Back in Millington, Tennessee, in Millington and Shelby County, when I was growing up, right in the '60s, when you needed something, when I needed socks, shoes, underwear, when the farmers would go and grow their vegetables and they had leftovers, they bring it to the church. You go to the church for everything. Your pastor was your NAACP. The problem
Word.
today is these pimp preachers, which they are, who leeches off the government. Half of them should be going to jail, flat
Dun,
out,
dun,
no ifs,
dun.
ands, but because of the money that they getting from the government instead of getting it from the community. And hold on, but the community also, the community has
Yeah.
let down. The community has let down the black church also. You don't see that many,
Hmm.
but you don't see that many. Look at Drewski, that skit Drewski did about the preachers.
Yeah.
Y'all seen that yet? If you ain't seen
Oh
that,
yeah.
you got to watch that. He was dead on. He hit the nail on the head with these pole pimp preachers.
Was this the
Have up.
guy
You don't see
flying,
him on the streets no more.
flying around? Was that the guy flying around somewhere?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. With the
You don't
red
see these
shoes, the
preachers
red
on the
bottom
streets no
shoes.
more. You don't. You don't see him on the streets no more. So to me, the NAACP has never been nothing to me, to be honest with you, at all. I don't understand their look at the past leaders. Look at the past leaders of the NAACP here in Minnesota. They were activists. They weren't leaders. They were activists. Think about the past leaders of the NAACP here in the state of Minnesota. What are they? They're activists. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
done.
but I
I'm
have to
done.
address that. I have to address that because as a kid, they had actual leaders. They had Mr. Matthew Little, who was head of the NAACP, and they had to come. People like Hubert Humphrey, Walter Mondale had to come to them for votes. They actually were trying to do something, and they were connected with all the churches now. Don't forget Reverend
Mhm.
Stanley Kling, who started the Sabathany Center, my father-in-law Wayne Glanton, Harry Davis. And Harry Davis, he's so overlooked because he had a Golden Gloves boxing thing for the kids. So in other words, they weren't out killing each other. They were getting in the ring. They were getting in the ring, learning skills, doing athletic things. It wasn't about robbing, knocking people in the head, all that. They had something to do. He brought all these kids into one of the greatest Golden Gloves things, and he was connected with the churches. Everybody was connected with the churches then. When I grew up, all my family was connected with the church. And the thing is, what we're seeing now is an overall dismantling of the things that, like you were saying, King, the churches, the what we did to make happen, the marching, the fighting back, the getting into school. It's a total dismantling of that, and it's also a watering down of it. Now they want to include the LBGD. Now they want to now they want to conclude all of them. It doesn't matter. Now when they do affirmative action, now it's for women. Now the women, so the white man just puts his wife up there, and the women construction people can get
Bingo.
the money. Can get the money. I mean, the civil rights legislation, all of these things, 14th Amendment, all of these things were enacted because finally they said, you know what? We enslaved these people. They have been here hundreds of years. They've been part of this country. They deserve to be citizens. They deserve to
Yeah.
have the rights. They have fought in our wars. They have done this, but it always gets watered down. And then they put these people. When I see people like Osmond and Ilhan, it just sickens me because they haven't earned the right, as we have, to be a citizen in this country. We had to go through hell and high water, and Rev, growing up in the South, my mother and grandmother then grew up in Birmingham and Talladega. They didn't come up here until my mother graduated from high school at
Mm.
Parker High School, where her school played against a school that Willie Mays went to. She knew all of these people in the South. She said it was a great school. They come up here, they had to get out of there because they had no opportunity to even buy a house, to even have an opportunity to get land, to accumulate wealth. But now we have people that come up here now and they're taking advantage of all the things we fought for. We fought for all of these things and we won.
Yeah,
And we now we
absolutely.
give them to everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know what we do at this point because you're looking at a situation here where you have a group or organization like the NAACP, and I always say the Urban League in the same breath, also right after. Because in Minnesota, I don't know if you're not from Minnesota, you probably understand this too. But here we have a structure where we have things just kind of collapsing all around us. When the Liberian community can get direct funding from the state legislature this year, which is they did, and the black community can't get a penny. There's a problem. And you ask, what do we
No,
get?
no, Don. We can get a
What's
penny. It's just going to a select few. It's
Okay,
just
yeah,
and that select few keep it in their pocket.
yeah. And we'd like to thank real quick here Miss Cindy Jones 90 for her donation to Our Black News. We
I
greatly
appreciate it.
appreciate
Look at
that.
that.
Thank
Yeah,
you very
that's
Look
our
at that.
first
Keep working.
donation, and it's going in there. And like I said, our show real quickly here is $49.99, almost $60. We want to move to the $99 a month and do it more often. And we're looking at getting some kind of integration tied in where we can take call-ins. So yeah, we're not a big company, but I do this out of my basement and my basement office, and we just. But anyway, let's get back to the NAACP.
Another thing.
Go
Here's
ahead.
the
Go
thing,
ahead.
and I understand what Mr. Scott was saying that at one point in time, the NAACP was actually relevant in the black community. Correct? Right? Did I follow that correct, Mr. Scott?
Yeah.
Yes.
At one
Yeah.
point in time, um, and like I said, I understand. I definitely understand what you're saying, but I got to go back to also the church, right? I mean, I just gotta beat that in people's head. Going, look, at some point in time, everybody has tried the church or done something in the church. The church, if we can get our churches back to where they should be, we wouldn't need these nonprofits. Okay. We wouldn't need these nonprofits. Don was talking about how much money that another group got, right?
Mhm.
If we could get our churches back, then we can sit down with that's a meeting point where all black people come together and sit down and talk. And I guarantee you, those people who just got all that money over in Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, I can guarantee you it probably was faith-based. I guarantee you they probably all sat down in that community and talked about it in a church or in some place that was faith-based to make that happen. The problem is these days here in Minnesota that I've noticed, and even to getting us together to vote. All right, we got a very important election that's about to come up here pretty soon. We got
Yeah.
to pick the next person who's going to be running this state of Minnesota, and half black people are not even going to vote. The half of black people don't even care, haven't even thought about it. Early voting has started. How many black people went out and voted? I like I said, I years ago I was done blaming the white man. I'm done blaming the white man. I still see black folks running around here getting in front of these mics, blaming the white man when it's us who's doing it to ourselves. If other people can get together and get funding for their people in their community, but we can't, and we've been here longer than they have, right?
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
been doing this thing longer than anybody has who has come here, but we can't come together. Charles Neal was attacked by a black man this week for no reason. By a knucklehead, boneheaded, stupid black. And yeah, I said it. I said because he attacked another black instead of coming together as black folks and we speaking with each other as black folks. I got a Negro gonna put up all types of AI posters of another black man, him going through his struggle and what he's been through. This Negro
Mhm.
ain't got no sense. Period, point blank. And that's what we do. That's why we can't get funding because we would rather drag our brother down than to help him, to go out to help him, to make sure that he's on a good level and he can bring himself up with us. But we would rather attack people. That's why we can't do right by each other.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's a
that's the new
fundamental
thing.
thing. That's a
Yeah.
fundamental thing. Just quickly, that's
Yeah.
going on with the community. We are the ones killing each other. We are the ones
Ooh.
killing ourselves. All this
Ding, ding,
shooting,
ding, ding.
stuff that's going on over on the north side and south side. White folks aren't killing us. White folks are not coming over here and murdering black people. We are doing this to each other. And this is the thing that all of these agencies and all of these unity, community, and whatever they call these things that are supposed to be doing the work. And I'm just saying, what are your results? What are your
Yeah.
results? Okay, you're getting money. We know you're getting money, but I don't see any results. I don't see any of this stopping. I don't see any of the mindsets being changed where these kids are being directed, even to something like baseball. You know, Rev, I played baseball every single day, me and my brother. Wherever we went, we took our gloves and bats with us. Wherever we went, that's what we did. But we don't see these diversions for kids now. We see kids now when they get 12, 13, they want to go out and knock people in the head. They don't want to go to school.
Yes.
They don't want to participate in things. And it's only if you have money and you live in the suburbs and you're elite, have a chance to be an athlete where you get the training and the equipment and the things you need. In the inner city, it used to be you could just go to a park. And
Yeah.
if you didn't have any money to get a uniform, somebody would get you one and make sure that if you wanted to play and you showed up, they would help you. We don't have that anymore.
The uniforms were free, Anthony.
They were free.
Well, in South Minneapolis, Park Baptist Church. I played for their soccer team in high school. We all got free uniforms. There was never a thing like my kid wanted to do basketball, and he didn't make the team. But if he would have made the team, it would have been like $275.
Oh,
And he goes to a public school.
$500 for traveling baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow.
That's the starting price. Now that don't cost for the hotels that you have to stay in. That's not for the tournaments you got to pay to get in. It's crazy what it costs for and we've been doing it for 13 years. You understand?
Yeah, and
do the math on the money of the hotels that we had to stay. We had to pay.
That's big money. That's big money right there. This is a funnel basically.
But black kids don't have that though.
Yeah, exactly. And I've heard this again and again and again that we need more quote unquote community centers in the inner city. So I want to play a little bit because these guys got $400,000, a little bit more for a Brooklyn Park Community Center. Let's just listen here, a little bit of this. Okay, that's the Drewski. That's not what we want. There we go.
Yeah, it is. Play it.
It's a fight that we started a couple of years ago. This community have always craved for a community center.
The Organization of Liberians in Minnesota got a $400,000 allocation from the legislature to update and expand their Brooklyn Park Community Center.
We are very happy.
I'm sure you're happy.
A fight that we started a couple of years ago. This community have always craved for a community center.
Okay, that's enough of that. It's just a short clip there that they had, and so I'm just looking at them going like,
I don't hate them though. I don't hate them for that.
Neither do I.
It's just like the Somalis, right? I don't hate the Somalis for what the Somalis took a blueprint and they did. They took a blueprint.
They have no gratitude for what they're getting. If they gave something to you, Rev, to do something, you would be thankful for it. The first thing you would say, and we're going to do good with this. They don't have any. They don't have that. They don't have any allegiance to this area.
They have never had that even for their own country, Mr. Scott.
Exactly.
Mr. Scott,
exactly.
George Bush goes over and kicks a hornet's nest, right? That's what happened. So George Bush needed to have something. He needed to start something. So he goes over to Somalia. Your normal everyday white person, even black people, we don't even know what Somalia even is, what them people over there do. So we go over there, we kick that hornet's nest. Then all of a sudden they go, oh, well, we gotta save these people. Let's go get them. So you go bring an uncivilized people over here and stick them with civilized people. What do we expect? They over there killing each other, shooting each other, fighting each other. What do we expect? Do we really expect them to come over here and fall in line and be good? What they did is they took a blueprint, Mr. Scott, that was used by a lot of immigrants. We can sit here, the Catholic Church, the Lutheran Church, these nonprofits that got paid off of these people. The only difference is the Somalian was like, y'all ain't getting paid off us. We want some of that money. And they got greedy. Right?
Yeah, they want what we have that they haven't earned. Then they have not earned it. And that's the problem that I have with it.
Exactly. I mean, so they come over here and pinch everybody's pocket. And I don't care what anybody sit here and try to say tomorrow. Oh, it wasn't all it was all through the community. Yes, it was. That's how that community worked. I've dealt with them enough. I've talked with them enough to know everybody in that community knew what was going on. I don't care what you say, how you say it.
All the way up to the top.
All the way to the top. All the way to the top. Jamal Osborne. Hello. That's all I'm saying about that situation. Period, point blank. Yeah. They all knew. They all got paid. When you can get 80, 90 people to lie and say that, oh yeah, they traveled all the way to the Twin City from Waconia, from Wilmer and all of this here type of stuff. Come on, man. We ain't that the thing that gets me, that pisses me off the most, is they act like we're stupid.
Yeah.
That's what pissed me off. Just like these car dealerships. When those people was rolling up buying BMWs, buying Lexuses, buying Range Rovers, you telling me that wasn't a red flag? When they was buying these $1 million homes, these white folks that was selling them these $1 million homes, you telling me those wasn't red flags? Come on, man. People got paid, and they all wasn't brown people.
No, not at all. And it's really funny because we used to live in Columbia Heights, and between 2010 and 2015, the whole dynamics, our neighbors on both sides were white, and then all of a sudden we look up, they're moving out. And the next thing I know, the whole neighborhood filled with what seemed like affluent Somali brothers and sisters. And I would ask the neighbor because, we had 2 cars, but, we work 8-10 hours a day. My wife and I come home, and then there's Lexus and there's Mercedes, there's BMWs. And I just was out there talking to brothers. I said, hey, man, how you doing? My name's Don, blah, 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 blah. I said, what do you do? He said, I drive a taxi.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, oh, I thought I was going to get engineer or mathematician or some kind of corporate thing. And I'm looking at these, and they got benefits that Black Americans will never be able to tap in. Again, I'm not mad at them either. I'm not mad at the Somalis. I'm not mad at nobody. I'm kind of
mad at the ones that give it to them. I'm mad at the ones that give it to them.
Thank you. There you go, Mr. Scott.
They have not earned
exactly.
it. We should put them
exactly.
Tim Walsh,
exactly.
Peggy Flanagan.
Yeah.
I want to just read a quick thing down, if I could. It's just real
go ahead.
quick.
No, go ahead, man. I'll blow you up right here. Here, go ahead.
It has to do with 38th in Chicago. It's, after purchasing the People's Way at 3744 Chicago Avenue for $200,000, the city put out a request for qualifications for a community owner to redevelop the site for community purposes. 4 groups were invited to present. The city initially planned to pick a preferred proposal before the end of the year, but complications muddled the process. The Urban League, the one-time leading candidate, withdrew its application for a George Floyd museum, citing concerns about financial viability. Another applicant, P3 Foundation, also known as David's Place. Have anybody heard of that?
Never.
Foundation.
No clue.
David's Place. They proposed a recreation center with art studios and a business incubator. However, David's Place only became a nonprofit after the city issued its call for proposals. So in other words, they weren't even eligible until they said, oh yeah, let's put this together. Like Agape, they have never filed any tax-exempt informational returns. Agape and the activist nonprofit Rise and Remember were the primary competitors. Rise and Remember is led by the Floyd family members, Angela Harrison and Paris Stevens, as well as activist Janelle Austin. Do you all know any of these people?
No.
Okay, formerly known as George Floyd Global Memorial, the group is connected to the protesters who have maintained the street memorial in front of the Unity Foods grocery since Floyd's death, and who at times have vociferously criticized the mayor. Rise and Remember reported nearly $1 million in revenue in 2023 to $272,000 in 2024. Its proposal to transform the People's Way into a memorial garden and greenhouse with an estimated cost of $2.5 million would have been the most financially modest. So in other words, these people are jumping up in, and why does the city, they buy the property and then they want to get somebody else to develop it? When, like I've said on this program many times, we have some of the greatest construction companies in this city, in the country, that can
Yeah, we do.
tear that thing down. Mortensen, Knutson could come in there, and in a couple months we'd have a whole new place there. They keep dilly-dally going with these organizations that have no background. You go to their websites, they don't even show you who the people are. They don't have no bios. They don't have any background. They've never even done business before, but the city wants to work with them.
Right.
Because
the city the people of the city wants to sit there and pat themselves on the back as if they did something. Oh, look at what we did. That's what this is all about. It's not about doing what's right. Like you said, the Knutson, they could come in there, all these people, they could come in there and knock that place down in a week, and in 2 weeks from now, there's all types of traffic and buildings and stuff going on down there. Give it to people who understand and know what they're doing. Look, I don't know anybody from Agape. I don't know what they really do. Right, I don't understand how they do this and do that. I'm not shooting down whatever they talking about doing. I'm just looking at it going, now is the time that we got to stop and look at how we're treating each other. That's my whole thing. Look at how we treat each other. We just excuse me, we were just talking about baseball. Is there a black baseball team anymore in Minneapolis, South Minneapolis, anywhere around it? Do we have a system for black kids playing baseball anymore? Or is baseball just completely gone?
I used to coach. I'm going to show you. Keep going, but I'm going to show you something.
I used to coach with RBI. And
what's RBI?
That was Frank White. That was Frank White. He's Royce White's grandfather. Royce White's grandfather. Your
that's
friend.
That's how I know Royce White.
Right. You know Ron. You know Royce Don. That's
yeah. That's how I know Royce White through his grandfather. Okay. His grandfather, we'd have to go pick Royce White up.
Okay.
But I coached for 4.5 years baseball in the inner city, RBI, through the Twins organization, right? We got a black baseball team together. I even got the pictures of our team in the whole nine. So I'm going, why don't we have black baseball anymore? See that right there. Yeah. That's right there. What we don't
Johnny
have
Baker
that
post.
You don't see that.
This is the Johnny Baker post. This was my father-in-law was the commander of the post. He bought these brothers. All these guys here, I know all these guys. I grew up with all of them. I really wanted to be on that team. I didn't live in the neighborhood, and I ended up marrying, his daughter. They had uniforms. They had a bus where they would go out and beat the tar out of a lot of these teams in the suburbs. I mean, you look at the names on this team. I mean, Louis Boone. Oh, God, I can't think of all these guys are all my buddies. Tommy Johnson, Dr. Johnson's son. Thomas Hooks, Rudolph Brown, and the coaches were the two brothers. Coach Robinson, He must have been there when you were at Central, Don.
Yeah.
Coach Robinson. Boy,
Coach Robinson, yeah, he was the track coach too, and the football coach.
Yes, he had a daughter. Boy, she was really something. But then,
Oh yeah, Renell, and Raji. Renell, oh, man, I just drool over Renell Robinson. I remember her. I hope my wife doesn't hear me.
But this is what
Renell Robinson.
baseball. Growing up here, we had this uniforms, great athletes. One of the athletes on here, Paul Hatchett, was one of the greatest football players at North Dakota State, and the coaches had connections with Nebraska and North Dakota State, where these brothers, after they got through in high school, they went to these colleges and played in the neighborhood. We don't have any of that anymore. We don't have the schools. We don't have. We're totally neglected. But when you look at these suburban schools, you'll see people like Abdi Hubi. They're on these teams. They're on there. See, we are really being pushed back, and we have to push back. We have to put the pressure on. We really have to. Otherwise, we're just going to continue to be left out.
Yeah, and I would just like to interject here on my ongoing rant here. We'd like to thank Miss Jones for her donation to Our Black News. It will help incredibly, and we are asking to try to raise $250 for this month. You can go to Cash App at $ Our Black News MN and donate 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, whatever. We'd really like, you to help us out. This is just so we can do this more often. And we pay $49, almost $50 a month. We want to pay $100 a month to get the bigger package and see if we can tie in a call-in aspect so people can actually call in. We can hear voices also. So again, that's donate to Cash App, $ Our Black News MN right there. But anyway, not to turn the corner or anything, but I was
let me say one more thing about let me say one more thing before we get off the NAACP here.
Oh, we ain't never gonna be off. Go ahead. Yeah.
But also let's look at it also this way. In a way of governance to help the NAACP should be also out there helping some of these young Black people who want to get into governing. Correct? You look at St. Louis Park. Look at St. Louis Park. The Somali community brought this young girl in, trained her, weaned her, put her through the system in Minneapolis, put her with the right people, sent her down there to St. Louis Park, put her in some type of governance positions, and she is now the mayor of a Jewish community.
Yeah, but who are these right people? Who are these right people? Who are these right people that helped her do this?
Exactly.
Who are these people?
Exactly. Make that make sense to me. A Somalian is the mayor of the biggest Jewish community in the state of Minnesota. You can't make that up, brother. That's power, man. But what I'm saying is that's power. That's power.
That's some good power.
Black folks couldn't even move.
That's some good power.
Listen. The reason the Jewish left North Minneapolis is because of Black people. Black people couldn't even move into couldn't even move into St. Louis Park. They wouldn't let us. Golden Valley was the cutoff. If Black people got into Golden Valley, you was lucky.
That's why she is a puppet. She is a puppet and a plant that has been put there to do whatever bidding she's being told to do. Not
but they
for
could
us.
Get one of their own, Mr. Scott. They could have easily got a Jewish person to run for mayor. Why did they have to go get what?
That's a good question. That's right. That's a very good question.
They went out and got this girl. They brought this girl here to Minnesota. She was in Virginia or somewhere like that.
And then why are they doing that? They don't want us, the people. They don't want us involved in the power. And then when they have us involved in the power,
there we go.
We have to be a puppet.
They can't control us.
President,
that's what the deal is.
We have the
Yeah,
president of the
yeah,
state senate. The president of the state senate is from our community. Okay,
yeah.
isn't that
Oh,
power?
they done beat him down. They done beat him down so much. It's not even funny.
Isn't that power?
Bobby Champion ain't got no power. Bobby ain't got no power.
He doesn't even have a vote. He doesn't even have a vote. He's just the president of the Senate.
Bobby, they put Bobby up there. They put Bobby up there to appease him because Ilhan Omar has his seat. They made that black man step down and he sat on his butt. He didn't fight for that seat, and Ilhan Omar got that seat. So they put Bobby Champion as president and told him that was something. Stand right here, boy. Stand right here, boy, until we get to you. But we want this here. We want this immigrant in your seat. And that Negro did exactly what those white folks told him to do.
Bow down. Bow down. I like Bobby Joe. I like Keith. I like everybody.
He won't give me time of
but
day.
But the thing is, it's like, yeah. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it's like, what's happening? What's going on here in Twin Cities? Where's the legislative agenda? Is there only like 3 or 4 people doing the legislative agenda? And these executive branch agencies don't call you back when you ask questions. You know, they don't want to get involved in anything. They don't have a statement. I asked the Council of Minnesota's African Heritage a while back about, you know, some things that they need to come out of. And I had compassion, and I felt kind of bad for them because they can't move to the front of the line and say, call a press conference and say they feel this way about that or whatever, because they'll lose their positions.
Why don't they come on the show?
Yeah, they will. They will. They'll be glad to do that. But the thing is, it's like publicly, it's really hard to ask them questions about ongoing events and current events because they have to be careful in what they say based on the people on their board and the state legislature and the political things they got involved. Like when there was a Council on Black Minnesotans. I tell this story quite a bit because it's true. Council on Black Minnesotans back in the day had Edward McDonald as the executive director. Edward McDonald was cool. He understand. He got it. He got a bunch of parents for foster care lined up and guardian ad litem. He got all these things set up so that black kids can go to black families. And then he did something and he didn't agree with the board. And Diane Lane, State Representative Diane Lane, State Representative Rena Moran wrote a bill that would break up the Council of Black Minnesotans and turn it to the Council of Minnesota of African Heritage, and everybody lost their job. They had to reapply. But that's the only way they could have got Ed McDonald out. He didn't reapply for that. He's not playing with that. So it's really crazy. And so when you look at the overall picture, it's like, you know, you talk about where these people are, what they're doing, and how they are. I'm not asking for a handout or anything like that, but there are people in our community that we can't even keep businesses open. Like the Rondo, to Taste the Rondo, which made some of the best chicken wings, I can say, in the hood over here. And the greens and the cornbread.
I co-sign.
Yeah, I mean, it was the food was just good. It was soul food. You could walk in, sit down, and have you a plate of soul food. I didn't have to go to North Side. I didn't have to go to South Side. I could just travel right over here to St. Paul. Boom, get it for takeout, you know, and go home, and the family would enjoy a big meal. And that's closed. And then the other day, man, I'm tripping, Anthony, because this was my spot.
I know you're going to say this, Don. I have to call. I know what you're going to say, Don, because I'm just completely.
Hey,
that was I go to Arnella's, leave Arnella's after when they had the great chicken wings there. They had a great kitchen there, but when they were closed, I would head right down University Avenue, get in line with the rest of them for you know what, the sliders.
Yeah.
Anytime I go to the
White Castle.
Anytime I go to the
White Castle. The White Castle.
You know, it's interesting down the White Castle.
That's where I go.
It's really kind of a poster child. It's really kind of a real poster child when you look at it. They had one on the north side, right on University. And every night when I worked downtown Minneapolis, I would just stop over there, and there would be all the brothers over there. The older cats that could get a cheap coffee and maybe a burger or breakfast. Closed it. Oh, I'm like, oh God. Then they had one on Lake Street for years. That was there in Minneapolis, right there on Lake and Nicollet, right there.
Yep.
I worked there. I worked at that one.
I would go there in the morning, and there would be this group of older guys and say, "Oh man, you're Scotty's son. He did the book." He did the book. All these guys were sitting there having coffee, closed it. And now the final death knell. But they're doing all kinds of stuff down on university. They've gotten rid of everything. The McDonald's, the CVS, they put that stadium there. They have run the Negroes all out of there.
Oh yeah, especially over there.
Well,
they just run the Negroes scattered. Just made them.
Let me just say, that's
terrible.
That CVS on the corner, that was on the corner of University and Snelling there, that wasn't a sustainable thing, man. Because
well, no, not after they put the rail.
Not
after they put the rail.
I mean, well, not even that. The number of brothers that would go out there and clean them out about $400, $500 worth of material every hour on the hour when they were open, it just made it unsuccessful. It's just like the funeral home 1 block off Snelling by the Ethiopian restaurant, which is also closed. The funeral home, the guy shut his business down and moved. And I ran into somebody, a mutual friend. He knows the owner, and I was there getting my haircut. He goes, "Yeah, man, they were breaking in, stealing my formaldehyde to embalm bodies. They're actually stealing that and breaking through the back door." And then the cleaners, the dry cleaners, Hamlin Cleaners, been there 100 years almost, as long as the McDonald's, like 3 or 4 generations of families. Closed. I used to have dry cleaners. I can get up and right around the corner, drop my clothes off, and I got to go way over to Randolph Avenue. Okay, and it's crazy. And so we're losing all these businesses. We're losing all this structure. But
we ask ourselves why, Don? Why is this happening to our cities here? Why is all of this happening? I mean, that's the part that really gets me. Things were, that was okay. We had a little stuff in our neighborhoods we could do, but why is all of a sudden it's like we're under attack, and it's like they're bringing in all these other people, and it's one thing, not the borders. They talk about that and immigration and all. Well, that always people have come here from different areas. Always, that's always happened. That's not there. That's not new here. That's everywhere. People have decided they want to move there, or they want to start a family there, or somebody has established there. That's nothing. But why, when is the deterioration? Basically, it seems like the inner cities.
That's almost everywhere. It
is.
That's almost everywhere, Mr. Scott. Because there's a lot of places. I mean, they had the Coon Rapids White Castle closed a long time ago.
Oh wow.
Yes, sir. They closed down a long time ago. When I go out there to coach, I can't go by I can't go by there anymore. But I was just about to say, thanks, Don. I was going to tell that young lady, hey, get in touch with Don Allen. What day you want to be on the show? And let's have that conversation, because I love talking about these nonprofits, because what I can tell you, these nonprofits ain't done a damn thing for the Black community, period, point blank. So
you're absolutely right.
I want to talk about nonprofits. I love to have you on this here show.
I am looking for her.
The nonprofit, reputation is, people have kind of used that as a synonym to get money. They just use that. I mean, having a nonprofit, it's not set up to just steal money from people, but this is what they have used to be able to do that. A nonprofit is just a tax status to allow you to do your business in a certain way. And so I've had one for several years. All we do is our books, we do our programs, we do community things that we do. We apply for grants and we don't get them, and it makes no sense why people that have just come here in all these agencies that have no people on their staffs that have any kind of training or background to do the work that they say they're going to do. I mean, it's just unbelievable how they have allowed to give money and to give resources to people that have no idea what they're doing. Oh, I got GED. I got GED. I got the street.
Right.
Give people to them. Give money to them. And I mean, that is just, it's so sick. And I hold DHS, the state of Minnesota, up to Tim Walz, and all of them accountable for this. I really do. They should be able to really vet people better. You should be able to. When I used to go get jobs at different companies, they look at my resume. What have I done? What's my
Yeah.
experience? What's my skill level? They don't do that with them. They come here. Then you come from Somalia. How can you go check and see what their birth certificate is? Do they have Social Security there? Do they even have a police force? Do they even have voting? Do they have nothing?
No, no,
And then they
they
come
don't.
here, and all of a sudden they're
They
the
don't.
greatest thing on earth.
They don't.
So, and I don't want to single out people. I'm just saying what the problem is what it is, and I'm just calling it
Yeah.
out.
Well,
And you did a
Don,
good job. Go ahead.
has any of these politicians who are running statewide, has any of them reached out and say, "Hey, I need time. I want time on your program"? Have anyone said anything?
Just Mike, William Parrish, and is trying to get a date with him and Mike Lindell.
Okay.
And I've reached out to Lisa Damuth. I've reached out to Michelle Tafoya. We're gonna have Royce on soon, and when he gets back, and there's a couple other folks, some libertarian folks who have reached out that are running candidates. Also, we're gonna try to get them on next week if possible.
Good.
It's just a matter of like lining people up, and just getting them on here. And I wanted them on. Some people are not going to be able to do Saturday, so we're gonna have to do one night, like 7:30 during the week, hopefully.
Okay.
And we'll just give them that. Okay, we'll be cool with that, even though it's Saturday morning. But on Saturday mornings, these folks have parades and stuff they got to go
Right.
to, around let people know. So I respect that. I get that. And
Like you said, they can set up time during the week. I mean, so it's not as if like they're busy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And so we're at the end of the hour.
But I was going to say, I want a black man. His name is Cedric Frazier. He's
I would love to have him on.
I need Cedric Frazier to reach out to us and come on this show. So I'm putting that out there. So if y'all know, if anybody knows Cedric Frazier, what I want you guys to do for us is to reach out to Cedric and say, Cedric, you need to come on Black News. You need to do that, young man. So
yeah, I agree. I can reach out to him too. I know someone that knows him. I can get
what about Keith Ellison? I think that would be a very interesting conversation if we could get Keith Ellison. I don't think it'll be possible, but maybe we could reach out. Maybe our production staff.
Like I said, I don't know. The one thing that I do like about Keith Ellison, when you do catch him somewhere, because I've been to a lot of places that Keith has been in, and Keith has never, he's never turned me down when I talk to him or I have something to say, or when I wait until after the event is over with and I'm questioning him about things. I definitely have to say, Keith he's been approachable. That's what I like. That's what I like about Keith.
Maybe we could get him. Maybe we could get him on the show and just kind of chop it up.
Maybe.
I'll send a message. I like Keith too. I'll send him a message and see what he says. And email to his office.
Get our production staff to really see what.
Yeah, y'all ain't working.
Because the closer it gets to election, if they don't come on, I'm gonna start blasting them. I'm just gonna start talking.
Yeah, they need to be blasted.
Whether it's on my show or it's on this show, I'm just gonna start talking about it. Because at some point in time, they've got to start saying, we want our voice to get out to more black people, right? Lisa Dumas.
Yeah.
You got to come out of hiding. You got to come out of all them white folks. Lisa Dumas is what you got to do, Lisa. Lisa needs to come on this show.
Yeah, I agree. And I just we're at the end of the hour, but that's okay because we're on our own time schedule. You know that Chris Brown and Usher was in town. And anyway, they have those personal VIP things. I just want to put this up. So the estimate that they made for those private backstage, sit on my lap, take a picture for your social media, the meet and greets, It's an estimate that Chris Brown made about between 125 and 225. That's thousand, and Usher made between 50 to 150,000 estimate. And it's important that you know that this money just doesn't go to those guys. I mean, the money does leave town, but it goes to the artist, tour promoter, the VIP agreement, management company, the venue, photographers, security, merchandise fulfillment, staffing, all this other stuff. So they've created businesses within the business within the business. And to come to Minnesota for one night and make that kind of money, everybody got paid. So I mean, though I wouldn't pay that much. I used to go to concerts and walk backstage because I had a backstage pass and just meet the artists for free. But there are people here that really had the money and wanted to go
Well,
back and meet the
I didn't
folks.
know Chris
And
Brown was that more popular than Usher. Look, I'm an Usher fan.
well,
I listen to Usher all the time, but I didn't know that was.
yeah,
I didn't know Chris
I
Brown
don't
was.
have one Usher song on my playlist anywhere. So
And I didn't know that we black folks got that type of money to be hanging out with Usher and Chris
Well,
Brown.
that's the
I
other
didn't know that.
question. That's the other question. Who's paying that money? Where
Exactly,
is that
Don.
money coming
yeah,
from? Is it
I
coming from the welfare people? Is it coming from the Somalis?
he
Where
said
is it
welfare.
coming?
He
It's
said
coming
welfare.
from people that have money, and we don't have that kind of money.
We
I'm
don't have
telling
that
you, we
money.
don't have
That's
it.
not
yeah,
us, Don. I can guarantee you that wasn't us.
yeah,
I
yeah,
I
yeah.
guarantee you
And
that.
and and
The white folks, are they that
and again,
curious? White folks, are they're going to do? Uh, I don't know. See, this is really getting out of hand, Don. I don't. My brain is just kind of like, man, I'm getting on overload. This stuff is getting so crazy to the point there's money flowing. Where is it going? Why is it going to
yeah, that's
certain
what.
people? Why? What are they doing? Chris Brown, Usher. Okay, who are they? Well, I wouldn't give them a penny. Just if I saw them in person, I wouldn't know who they were. I would say, but why is this happening? I want nobody can
uh,
say we are in a thing where we're all like, when I was a kid, they used to have a thing called a top, and you would hit that thing and hit that thing, and that top would just keep spinning. And then you just hit it again and you just keep spinning. And that's what we're doing now. We're just spinning. We
yeah,
have we
We're
have
just spinning.
no
Thank you.
we don't know where this thing is going.
Thank you.
We don't know.
Exactly. We
What
we have zero power in a state where black folks are actually being a part of. We have no power. We have no power. We have no say so. We have no governance leverage at all. Other people have come here and look, like I said, look at Saint Paul, right? They got a what she's Hmong, is she right? Am I right on that or no?
yeah. Mirror her,
Yeah.
mirror her.
They've come up through the ranks to put all these people into these seats, into these governance seats. The problem with us, the difference between us and them, is when they get people in power, those people take care of their people. When
Yeah,
we get people in power,
Yeah,
our people just
yeah,
walk around with their head up in the air like they
right.
big time, and they
Yeah,
don't want to deal with normal black people like us,
yeah, yeah.
right? I
That's
asked Bobby
no,
Champion.
no, not at
I
all,
asked
not at
Bobby
all.
Champion for a meeting. Bobby Champion's little girl came back to me and said, "Oh, he'll give you 15 minutes on a Zoom call." Kiss all of my black brown. That's
you
what I
hit
said
it
to
right on
Bobby
the
Yes.
Champion.
head. You hit
That's
it
what I
right on
said to
the
Bobby
head.
Champion. You
Hit it
can't
right
give
on
me a
the head.
few minutes of your time. You can't come to my church and sit down in front of me for a few minutes to have a conversation, Bobby Champion. No, he can't. So I got to try to chase Bobby. See, here's the funny thing about me and Bobby. Anytime I see Bobby at a place, I got to literally chase him down. Bobby will look and see me and take off the other way. I'm not joking. I got to chase this brother down just to have a conversation with him. He ain't like Keith.
Dang, that's
Keith will
crazy.
stand there and talk to you. Keith will give you the time of day. Bobby going the other way if you can catch him.
So, you know, and here goes the thing. It's like I watched the brother. What I'm doing today, I want to explain myself. I said today we're going to raise some funds here for the show. I watched these two brothers who obviously are more popular than us. One was not that popular, but he was just down south. I watched him put up his Cash App thing like I did there. and I watched him talk for an hour. And I mean, he wasn't the greatest orator, but he had a following, and he did good. And by the end of the show, he had raised $5,000.
Mm.
They're down south, South Carolina area. And I says, wow, that was really good. I wasn't trying to raise $5,000, but we just asked the community for two and few. I mean, we had one person donate under $20, but that was it. And it just goes to show you here in this town, we don't support our own folks. We don't.
It was done. It was just like I was just saying. We got a young brother, and I like him. He when he does something, I call him out. But what I'm saying is, we had another brother attack him because of his past discretions, and then here's the thing that gets me: the brother who attacked him act like he all that spiritual. I'm like, but you're attacking a brother that needs help. You're attacking a brother that we can bring up. That's what we do. But you're all this spiritual, and you got all your crap all around your head, and you walking around, I'm the black community and all this here. But you're gonna attack another brother in the black community who went through something, who got railroaded, and you don't even understand, and you ain't even heard this boy's story. That's what we do. That's what we do as black folks.
We do that.
Charles Neal was attacked this week by another brother, that bonehead. Anyway.
Well,
Yeah. I saw that, and I don't know who this guy is, but you gotta understand that's it's such a waste of time.
Come after me, mess with somebody that know you. He know I know him.
Yeah.
Mess with me. I got something that I can tell the community something about you. I'm right here. I don't mind being attacked. Yeah. They do it all the time anyway. I'm good.
Yeah, same people you see going up as the same people you see going down. So be cool at every level.
Exactly.
That
pissed me off this week, man. That got on my nerves.
Yeah,
it said commentary.
Yeah, I don't really know what's happening with folks, but we have to do something because I don't know what the NAACP is going to do. I really don't. I don't know how they're going to work this out. I don't know how they're going to do their damage control to fix this because they're not representing the people they need to represent. I don't think. And I mean, I know people here locally on the NAACP, especially in St. Paul. I might even be related to.
So is there a Minneapolis and St. Paul NAACP, or is there one?
Yes.
Really? One?
There's one in Minneapolis by that Sammy's Eatery, that coffee shop on Broadway at Emerson, and then the other one, their meeting place or their office, if I'm not mistaken, is the Hallie Q. Brown Center in St. Paul. It's been there forever.
Oh wow!
But I was there on Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was Tuesday, and they were having a senior computer class back there. I knew a couple of cats in there working on the computers, so that was pretty cool. And they were just teaching them computers, and that was at the Hallie Q. Brown Center, which is getting their new roof put on and getting a little remodeling. And then they have the St. Paul Public Library, the one on Dale and University, has been closed for a long time because of the transient problem out there and people not understanding how to do any problem solving at all and decision making. And they moved a little subsection of the library into the Hallie Q. Brown Center, or the Hallie Q. Brown Center.
That beautiful
and so
building,
the really small
that beautiful library building, now it's vacant. It's closed.
Yeah, they're going to open it up sometime in the next few months. But, here goes the deal. You have a library, a public library, that not even our schools know how to coordinate our students with the library. When I went to Minneapolis Central, my social studies teacher said, hey, go over to Hosmer Branch on 36th and 4th, go to the second floor and look through the catalog and find these geographic areas. There's maps. You can't take pictures, but they can make copies that you can put in your report. You can cut them out, do all this. There was a connection between the school and the public library. English class, school and public library. Math, science, school and public library. And we used to go to school, and they used to teach you. It was a class of how to use the card catalog to look up your books. Now we got the internet, and when you can just type it in, how deep is muddy water? Boom, it'll come up, the answer. Okay. And back then you had to use a little bit more of your noggin because you had to know alphabetical order, looking up your books, your topic, the authors, and then you had to go look at the number of the book and go to the section and look at okay, that was H3954. I'm at H3854. I got to go back. Our kids lose all
And the
that.
library was in walking distance to the school. Okay? The library was usually across the street from the school. You go to Central, Hosmore was across the street from the school. You go to Roosevelt, the library is directly across the street from the
Across the street.
I mean, so yeah, they have to emphasize learning.
Now,
They don't do that anymore.
and so now they go to the library. It's a field trip. Look at this historical wonder. It's a library. Kids before you had to go here and look through these card catalogs to find their topics. And it's like, and you remember growing up, everybody had set encyclopedias in the house. I don't care how broke or poor you were. You had a set of encyclopedias in the house.
Yep.
Okay. That dude would come to your mom's house every year and try to sell you a new, and we would get the upgrade. I mean, it was a beautiful thing. I don't want to run off on a rant, but things aren't right, and I wish the NAACP would just step up and do a press. Here's what I would like them to do. People are saying, "What do you want them to do?" I would like the Minneapolis and St. Paul NAACP to call a press conference, and I want both presidents and vice presidents to go, and the regional director go to the microphone and tell parents and schools that bullying isn't the worst problem in the schools right now. Just something that simple. Bullying is not the worst problem in the schools right now because there's a high emphasis on that. We skip reading. I just read yesterday, Anthony and Reverend Christopher, that the schools are mandated in the fall to teach 4 through 12 on cannabis, on weed. Okay?
Thank you for bringing that up.
So we created a whole new generation of weed smokers are coming up now because, when we were doing alcohol in school, I needed to try that. I wanted to know what slow gin was and what it tastes like with 7
Mad
Up.
Dog 2020. Thunderbird.
MD 2020.
Thunderbird.
What's the price? 60 twice. Yeah.
Boom Farm.
Yeah.
Hey.
Booze Farm. All that stuff that took you to the place quick. Okay? And so go ahead.
No. I'm glad you bring that up because I talked to my 13-year-old grandson who's going into the 8th grade this year. Talks about how bad weed smell, and in school, he's 13 years old.
Oh,
he's in school, and he talks about how bad the kids smell bad. He's in the 7th grade. He said the 8th graders smell bad because they smell like weed.
Oh, he's in the middle school.
This is middle school.
Yeah, you get a lot of that. Yeah, you get a lot of that in middle school. In middle school, they will come in, like I work in middle school now, but they don't do that. They're very respectful. But in Minneapolis public schools, you'd be like teaching and going,
yeah, right.
What is that? And then, they out in the bathroom. It's coming up through the vents. This is the whole school. And you might as well not use no air freshener because I ain't gonna do nothing. And eventually the kids get busted. It's a bit, they're praised as these bold, outgoing, wonderful, defy the system kids, and they ain't learning nothing. And that's really horrible. And vaping marijuana pens and vape pens, they're doing that in school on a regular basis. So you got all this stuff, but the marijuana thing seems kind of weird because they use a lot of money they're going to use a lot of money if they haven't already to get programming and curriculum done. And the old white guy that decided, let me see, if this was the thing to do. I mean, he's sitting there pretty because he wrote this. I read the curriculum. I go like, oh my God, I wouldn't let no one I know near any of that. What this guy, I'm gonna pull his picture up so you guys can see it here in a minute. Let me just download it here. Here we go. Let me show and finder. There we go, right there. Boom. Boom. Let me see if I can get it over here. Overlay. Boom. Here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna drop it right in here. So I'm doing some last minute little things here to get this cleared out. And we're still doing a fundraiser, by the way, if anybody's listening still. So this is the guy right here. Can't remember his name. Winters. Who? Let me move Cindy's thing out of there. Ken Winters wrote. You see, sitting across from a black Channel 5 reporter. This is the guy that got the curriculum together to talk about cannabis. You know, he's kind of rosy cheeked. You know, he might have been, you know,
Too
I don't
late.
know. But anyway, it's from Channel 5.
Too late.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's really weird that this guy is the authority. And if they at least should have a brother, Native American, or someone sitting next to him to kind of explain, because I didn't like this interview at all. And I think the schools are getting railroaded on this cannabis thing because that's not important. Bullying and cannabis and bullying is not the most important thing. But we got a lot of these kids from that certain community that if you call them outside of their pronoun, that's bullying. And you actually get in trouble. Teachers and kids get in trouble for that. I mean, letters in your file. You know, you're making a mistake you're looking at someone. Like that's like me looking at you two and saying, I did this once. I said, hey, sir, how you doing? And this biological male looked at me with his mouth open. What? I use this and this and this. I don't. I'm not, sir.
Oh no.
And I'm looking at him.
We're not.
I'm looking at him. I'm like, I didn't know that. I have to respect that in the education system. I have to respect that. But you didn't make it clear to me, and I'm just going by what my eyes see in a very objective, innocent way.
Doing it.
I said, so don't come after me. And it wasn't at my current school, but another school, I didn't get in trouble for that because I just told him, I says, that's like the kids that come in and ask how many sexes are there, how many genders are there. I says, well, I believe in science, but you should go home and ask your parents first.
There you go.
And then come back and tell me what your parents said. Okay. So if your parents are saying 13, 14 genders, I'm not going to argue.
I'm not playing that.
So
I'm not playing that.
Yeah.
I know. Nope.
It's just
I don't have nothing against it. I don't have nothing against anybody who believes that, who thinks that, who sees that. But if you come up to me and you're a man, I'm gonna call you a man. You come up to me, you're a woman, I'm gonna call you a woman. You come up to me, you're a boy, I'm gonna call you a boy. I'm not playing this gender, all this.
Well, you're phobic. Then you're going to be some phobic. You're going to be some type of a phobic thing.
I'm everything else, Mr. Scott. Add that one to the list.
And then some.
I'm everything else to people. Add it to the list. Get in line. It's a long line, Mr. Scott. They can get in line with everybody else, and when they get their chance to call me out and call me names and say I'm this and I'm that, I'm cool with it. But
right on.
But if you're gonna do that, make a donation to Our Black News.
Yeah, that's all we asking. And before we go here, I did want to put this up here. Let me get rid of this little widget here so we can see it decently. Rondo Block Party, the 4th annual, is Saturday, the August 1st from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 820 Rondo Avenue in that neighborhood. It's a block party. Blue Cross Blue Shield.
What is
coming
Rondo
down
Avenue? Is that Concordia? What is Rondo Avenue? Where is it?
I have no idea. It's 820 Rondo Avenue. It has to be that Concordia, right?
I think it must be Concordia.
Up and down that street. Oh, that's where it was. Yes, that's where it was last year. It was like by Brooks Funeral Home.
Oh, okay.
On that block.
Victoria there.
On that block going down from Brooks to Grotto.
Okay.
Yep. From Victoria to Grotto.
Yeah. Okay.
It was right down in front of there.
Well, maybe it's right.
And so the 800 block
where the VFW used to be. Was on that corner.
That's always a possibility.
You hit
I don't.
Go from Brooks to Concordia.
According to my map, it's Summit Hills, right off of what is that? University, Summit University. It runs into 94. Over by the United Hospital,
No,
35.
no.
Frogtown.
Okay.
You can take University to Milton Street, and that should put you on Rondo. Yep, got it right here. Rondo Avenue, Concordia. Runs right into Concordia.
Okay.
Somewhere over there.
All right. Yeah, I was looking too. I was going to do a Google Earth, but I want.
Yeah,
So I wanted to show you guys that. And
Well, they used to have one down in St. Paul. You know, it was by Dale. It was right at the King Center. Like, what was that one? What did they call it? That wasn't Rondo, was it? They didn't call it the Rondo Festival, but they used to have something right there at the King Center.
I don't remember what that was.
I can't remember what the.
I remember what that was called.
Oh, okay.
Okay, new map project. Open Google Maps. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to do that. Let's take it too much work here. Also, next week, the young lady, Choose Compassion, who's been in our comments, who wants to mix it up about the nonprofits.
Oh,
she will be on. She's confirmed to be on, and I don't know if she wants me to use her real name yet. I'll ask her later. But I found out who it was finally. It is someone that is a Facebook friend who has a really good point of view on stuff.
Oh, good.
And
I like that.
kind of see some stuff the way that it needs to be seen. And we're gonna have her on, and she's just gonna mix it up with us for that hour.
That.
And
like
it's not necessarily an interview or anything like that. She's just gonna be a guest co-host with all of us.
You know what? At the end of this month,
Mhm.
How long we been doing this together? How long all three of us been together?
Oh gosh, years. I don't know how many years.
Here's the funny part about this here. We three have never been in the same room at the same time.
No.
It's time for us.
No, that's why we gotta get over there.
It's time for us to pick a day, and we need to go have breakfast somewhere.
Yeah.
We've never.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about going. I ain't never sat and broke bread with these brothers ever, and we've been doing this for I don't know how long. We got
a lot of years.
At the end of this month, we got to pick a day, and we got to go sit down and break bread. We got to get a breakfast, man. We got to do it.
I'm in. I'm game.
Yeah, I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in too.
Somebody pick a spot.
And in closing,
pick a spot and let's do it, man.
JD Hoyts, Monte Carlo. It's the end of the show. We went a half hour over, but again, we're raising $250 this month for $ Our Black News Minnesota. MN right there. You can go ahead and donate if you'd like. We'd like to thank Ms. Jones for the first donation ever to Our Black News. Again, it's our $ Our Black News MN on Cash App. And you can donate around the clock. You just don't have to wait until we get off the air or anything like that. And so we'll have this person here choose compassion, and will be with us next week, and we'll just hunker down and look at some stuff. And let's really get into that Chicago and 38th Street nonprofit debacle where they gave those people that don't even live in what's her name? I don't even know her name. I'm not trying to disrespect her or be disrespectful, but someone makes you laugh at like $42,000,
right.
And it was like, yeah. So
Rise and Remember.
Put a picture up.
Rise and Remember. I don't know what they are, but they supposedly are getting the money for the People's Way gas station, I guess. Rise and Remember.
I think somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me a picture of that black woman who is a comedian, and she works for WCCO. I can finally say that now.
Yeah, she writes something in the paper. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I know who it is. She works for.
Oh, she's one of them safe people.
Yeah. And
she's one of those safe people.
Could be AI. Could be an AI person. I don't know.
Yep. There you go.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, thanks for watching. We're at the end of the show, and we'll close out with something here. Where are we at? You guys have a good weekend, and happy 4th of July to
Yeah,
everybody. Happy 4th.
definitely.